One more thing here. This week, Mujik, Rooster Boy, he put up some stuff. Got pretty angry about it too. About this lease therapy page and some of the wording on it, where it says all of our patients, while undergoing and following this treatment, have experienced visible and drastic improvements to their condition without negative side effects. And he just blasted that all to because his personal story and then some stuff about within 3 months, all patients who have undergone the full required cycle of therapy have experienced total recovery, verifiable by CT scan with contrast, in addition to ultrasonogram. And
right.
What I was getting to is he like I said, I mean, he's feeling his vodka, but he's talking about contacting the Federal Trade Commission and turning you in for false misleading advertising.
Okay, let's approach this one. First of all, you cannot talk about misleading advertising when people do not follow your guidelines and also do not listen to what I say. If you have had other treatments before and you haven't had any real clue of what they have done to you and what happened, because a lot of those have very long-term side effects, then there is no way it can be determined what's going to happen to you, and everybody's warned about that. But before all of these attacks to Lase Med Inc came about, I mean, recent months, just because trying to stop us, patients were really following what we were saying, the majority of them anyway. So they were really feeling great after the treatment because the cancer was dead. And that falls into the accusation of that other agent provocateur, and I don't know whether she believes that, I doubt it, or she's just ignorant, I don't know. That falls into her statement of saying that I have some kind of, what did she call it?
Mind control.
Yeah, some kind of mind control into the patient, and that's why they stick to, and they listen to me for a while, but then they go off on their own. Well, that has nothing to do with spiritual connection, mind control, or anything. The patient come in, they feel pretty bad. Either they had the standard treatment or alternative treatment. They have a live cancer that is chewing their lives out because it's taking all the nourishment, so they feel awful. And then they start getting the treatment. Yes, we have a relaxed atmosphere. We have a good time. We talk about life, a positive part of life. Positive aspect of life. We're not talking to the patient by saying, you're going to die, you're in trouble, you're in danger, there is no hope for you, which is already a depressant. But no, we talk about everyday life, funny movies, gourmet food, good things. But also the patient starts feeling better because the cancer is dying, so their appetite returns, they start feeling better, and by the time they're discharged, they know something has changed in their life. Something major. They know, they feel normal again. I've had a lot of patients saying, I feel like myself again. And that's why they go back home and they feel great. They are happy and they last that way for quite a while until the surge, and it's true, you can have a CT scan with contrast and it will tell you what's happening. You can have all sorts of testing. Unfortunately, very few of the medical establishment are telling them the true story. But people feel great. And then the immune system, everything stays dormant for a while. That's because everything has been killed, even the neutrophils that are supposed to help the healing. But when all of that wakes up, then the immune system attacks that tissue, and then they feel discomfort. And that's when they start panicking, go back to the establishment, and all the messes come around. And then when they turn around and say, you lied, and I'm over your mind control, like that idiot said. But anyway,
well,
okay.
There's a spiritual side to it, too, I guess, because you got Catholic hospitals and Baptist hospitals and Masonic hospitals.
Listen,
I mean, it's religious involved, but I mean...
We got at the end of our hour, so we need to break. There is a commercial coming on. We'll say goodbye to you at the second hour and then get our guest on, okay? All right, bye. Okay, we're back from the break, and what I want to bring back is what Arnie said about exposing who is the puppet master of all those members of the Pinocchio gang. And apparently he uses these methods of dirty campaigning against somebody that is actually a private citizen. And so what this group is doing is illegal, but at the moment it's still going on. However, as I said, he is a public figure because he's in politics. It's probably the example of the worst kind of politician, but he's in politics. And politics is pretty dirty, but there are, of course, and it's based on lies, but there are some that are a lot worse than others. So he is the worst kind, and his behavior really has no excuse because he's trying to damage not just what I am doing, but also the public, the humanity that is trying to get a relief from the slavery of barbaric cancer treatment. So I really believe that this is the proper time for him to get the right award. So let's proceed with the next award of this week. Let's go. Okay, this is to you, Bill Bond. You deserve it richly. That was nothing compared to the harm you're trying to do to people, but you sure deserve that. And we'll see how many more of these awards and who is going to be the winner of the most awards. It's just pretty sad, like Atty said, you know, she has seen so many people suffer, and nobody points that out. They're suffering not because of the cancer, they're suffering because of the treatment. And when they are told you died of, you lost a fight against cancer and you died of cancer, no, you didn't, you died of treatment. Because people that die of cancer don't die that way and don't die that quickly. But anyway, that's the sad part about what is going on. And now, the other problem is that this puppet master is using ignorance to serve his purposes. So he's using all these people that really have no knowledge of any kind, no ability to judge what they are discussing, and no ability of evaluating what we are saying or what's the value. That assuming that they're honest, which is a big assumption. They're probably not only ignorant, they're also dishonest. But you know, assuming that they're honest, that they're just used, their ignorance is being used for other purposes, and so they post all sorts of insults and nonsense on the web, and basically what they are is taking everything we say out of context and make it sound like we are saying something else, and then trying to ridicule science, and because that's what I base everything I say. It's no or hearsay, no personal belief, not magic, nothing like that. It is science. And you either know enough to understand the science or you don't. And if you don't, you should not talk about it. That's why we're going to give out the next mini award.
What's the matter, you? Hey, I got no respect. Hey, what do you think you do? Hey, why you look so sad? Hey, it's a not so bad. Hey, it's a not so bad. Shut up your face.
Okay, and this week again it goes to Pinocchio Crucolo, and the reason why I think it fits really well because this is an Italian, southern Italian singer, and it fits with his. But Joe Dolce is funny, and he's a good person, obviously, because he's making fun of everyday silly things that happen in Italian family. Pinocchio is another story. So, and he has been shouting his mouth. Although this entire gang deserve repeated awards, but this week he gets the prize. Next week we'll see. But this week he gets the prize because he really had made a total fool out of himself, whether he knows it or not, with his stupid question on a scientific issue which he doesn't even begin to understand. And I guess his puppeteer is using his ignorance to put out stupid statement. But also, he went further beyond that and then tried to make implication on my personal comments on my personal life. Obviously, he doesn't know anything about my personal life. And he made some really idiotic comment about the reason for my divorce. How can you go and discuss somebody else's private life when you know absolutely nothing? You are heading for disaster. In this particular case, though, let me tell you, after some of people in the company read his comment, I had to go and pick up from the floor all of my employees. They were laughing their heads off, rolling on the floor. So it was just so ridiculous. Everybody knew what he was saying. If you only knew how ridiculous it was. Everybody was laughing so hard that I really had to get him off the floor. So in a way, I had to thank him for giving them such a good time.